guys, it's Benjamin. I wanted to show you a really strong 2x2 concept that I made here. Apologize for the brevity. This is my third time recording this video and I'm a little triggered, if you will, right now. So, it looks like a normal 2x2 with honeycomb around the outside, a traditional 2x2. It's got an area for your horse. You can safely get in and off your horse without being exposed to the outside of your base. No, it just looks like a normal 2x2. It's got external PCs that can be disconnected. This prevents you from your base from being griefed. And going in, I really like double doors as an entryway instead of garage doors because you can just run in like this. You don't have to wait on the garage door to open and close, which will get you killed. This base uses a door push exploit. I first learned about this, probably, I don't know how long it's been, a couple years probably, from Old Feller and Odawa. They have great YouTube channels. I'll put a link to those below. So you put a ramp here, make sure it's armored, make sure this entryway here is armored, and make sure that it's got a half wall shelf here. And whenever you go through, you can't get through. So if someone were to raid and blow that double door and this single door, you can't get through. They're going to have to do something about this ramp. They can take 30 minutes jackhammering it, or they can spend a ton of explosives getting through it, but they're going to have to take care of it. So this exploit, generally speaking, prevents you from being, prevents enemies from going deep on you, and it also slows them down tremendously whenever they're raiding you. Really, really nice. So to get through yourself, you use the double door. You just open it up and it pushes you through. And then to get out, you have a fireplace here. You use the single door to push you in the other direction. And without these doors, and without it set up exactly like this, nobody can get through. So it's really nice. It does take some practice to get used to it though, so practice on a build server. It's a traditional U-shaped 2x2 design. It just wraps around like this. Here's loot, here's TC, here's furnaces, etc. I like using the top of 2x2s as storage. You can use the top honeycomb because they don't usually get raided from there, so you can keep your frog boots and your bows and stuff up here, your less valuable loot. So that's the first really cool thing about this base is the door push trick, which I love. Again, you need to practice it to get used to it. You can also use these two boxes here as like a depot thing. So whenever you're coming in and you're farming or something, you can just drop your loot in here. The real secret of this base, what makes it super duper strong, is Roscoe. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Roscoe. Roscoe is going to show us how to make the enemies rage. Actually, they won't rage because they don't even know what they're missing. So whenever you get nice and fat and you get lots of resources and you raided someone and you're like, hey, starting to get a little uneasy here, ignore this. Rest in peace, Roscoe. I'm so tired of recording this video, guys. I'm just gonna deal with the issue here. I don't know why on Sanctuary the horses keep glitching out. You see how it just pushed me off of it? But anyway, whenever you get resources and you want to hide them in your base, just, ladies and gentlemen, meet Roscoe. You bring Roscoe over here, and you clip him into the wall. Clip his head into the wall just like that. And then you spawn in your suicide bunker that the enemy doesn't know exists. And you examine Roscoe, and he's going to be loaded up with sulfur or C4 or whatever valuables you want to store in here, and you store them in here. Notice that I used a shelf instead of the half-wall shelves, and it's because people have pointed this out in my previous videos, and y'all are exactly right. I mean, I didn't think it's that big of a deal, but on retrospect, you guys are right. So if you use half-walls, you can see, you can put twig along the base and see if any of the honeycomb is being used for shelving, for storage. And if somebody sees it, if it snaps into place here, they're going to know that there's a shelf back there. So it's better to use the salvage shelves whenever you're using secret bunkers like this. Now, some people will say, why don't you just put drop boxes in here? And then you don't have to deal with the horse at all. Well, if you put drop boxes there, then the enemy knows that there's stuff back there. It defeats the whole point of it. I mean, obviously it's still super strong because they're having to go through a wall instead of a door. But what's even more powerful than really sturdy walls is loot that they don't even know exists using misdirection. So you use your horse to transfer loot in and out of your secret loot room here, and whenever you get raided, the bad guys they're not going to find it. They're just not. And again, you don't have to build your base exactly like this. This is more to demonstrate the overwhelming power that horses have in Rust right now. I know it's going to get nerfed soon. I almost guarantee it's going to get fixed. But in the meantime, this is the best thing that you can do to your base to make it super duper strong using misdirection. And then whenever you want to get your loot out, you just put the horse through and transfer it back through on the saddlebags. So that's the genius of this 2x2. Will this horse save your base from being fully raided? The answer is yes. Will he save you from losing all of your loot to a raid? The answer is yes to that also. There was a few questions in some of my last videos about how the external TCs work and how they prevent you from being griefed, so I'm just going to demonstrate it real quick. If y'all know how this works, you can skip on to the next video, and please make sure to subscribe. I don't ask that in my videos very often, but I would really appreciate it if y'all would subscribe to my channel. It helps with the distribution, it helps with the algorithm, etc., etc., and it would really mean a lot to me. So let's say that you get raided and they get your TC. So right now, you can see I have building privilege. You see the green at the bottom right? I have building privilege, so I can't put a TC down. You can't put a TC down whenever you have building privilege. So if the enemy were to break the TC, they still can't put one down because the external TCs, you see these? These external TCs are extending their building privilege radius all the way over to the main base. So now the bad guys still can't put a TC down. It's red. They can't put it down because they're going to be building blocked. For them, it's going to show up as red building blocked. Now, if you come back from if you get home from work or you get home from school and you come back and you've been raided and you want to take your base back, you can do that with these external TCs. You just go over here and you put a twig down right here. And this is why they're disconnectable, is because you can disconnect their building radius from the main base. Do that, and now it breaks the floor frames over here, and then you do this the one over here. That's not the right one. You put first, the most important thing is to actually do it right, like that. And now whenever I go over to the main base, you see, I can put the TC back. And once I put the TC back, now I can go back and build these back to how they were. Sometimes it's easy to take for granted, you know, 9,000 hours and playing the game for 7 years. You know, things that seem super intuitive and obvious to one player may not be to someone who just started playing Rust recently. So I figured I'd explain that in case someone wants to know how the external TCs, especially the disconnectable ones, work and how powerful they can be. Okay guys, really appreciate y'all watching this video.